Hi, you're on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. Subscribe to my channel as well as my Facebook page. There we can chat. The link is in the description of the video. Thank you. Enjoy watching. Story 1. Aita for deciding to go to Bosnia to donate a kidney to my mom even though she abandoned me. So, I, 25, have never met my mother. I was raised in Dublin by her older sister. My mom, 44, is a journalist and went to cover some story in Sarajevo because she was born there. From what my aunt told me, she got hit by a car, got hurt really badly, and is experiencing kidney failure and for some reason can't get flown back to her estate in Romania. I don't know why. My aunt doesn't know much either. What she does know is that she needs a kidney and mine should work. I know my mom abandoned me. My aunt's made that very clear to me. My aunt has told me straight up that my mom felt stigmatized in Romania being a single mom and couldn't care for me cause of her depression and that she doesn't want to see me because it'd be too painful. But she gave me to my aunt so I had a good life instead of ending up with some family with whatever odds of them being good. That means that to some degree she does care for me even if she doesn't love me. But even beyond that, even though I've never met her, she's still my mom. So, I told my aunt that I'd go to Sarajevo and do the operation. I know I probably still won't meet her, but there's a part of me that feels this may be the closest I'll ever be to her. My fiancée Katrine doesn't really know much about Sarajevo, but she's terrified of war. She won't even watch me play Battlefield and she's so paranoid because of what's going on with Russia. Her phobias can get really bad sometimes. She learned that Sarajevo is where World War I started and is begging me not to go and keeps looking up statistics about the Serbian campaign of the war to try and scare me off. But then Katrine pointed out how she'd be terrified for me and told me it wasn't fair that to help somebody who didn't love me I'd be hurting her. And honestly, it makes me wonder if I am being the asshole to my fiancé by being adamant on doing this in person instead of arranging for my kidney to be sent. So, if I am, please let me know. Update. So, the first thing that I will say is that donating a kidney is a bitch. It made my birthday suck. The second thing that I will say is that apparently to people in Bosnia, speaking Croatian with an Irish accent sounds absolutely adorable. I guess the big thing is that I did it. I went with my aunt to Sarajevo and it was revelatory. One thing I didn't know is that I am actually a year older than I thought, and it had to do with my mom escaping to Romania. There were a bunch of other things too, like meeting cousins who look exactly like me. But yeah, I gave the kidney. I had my aunt tell my mom that it was okay if it was too much to meet me, and I fully understood. A little bit before I was set to leave, though, she did agree to meet me. She gave me a hug, kissed me on the face, told me I was beautiful in 4 different languages and then kept saying she was sorry for not being there for me. After we both calmed down, we had a big talk and she almost seemed offended and relieved that I wasn't mad at her for anything. It was weird though hearing her say how much I still look like I did as a baby, 'cause I don't feel I do. It was a bit of a floodgate opening since she has messaged me and called me so much since then. There hasn't been a day that she hasn't sent something and not a week that she hasn't apologized for something she doesn't need to. And then there was Katrine. She tried to get over me going, but she couldn't and went out drinking and partying while I was gone to get over it. But she said it didn't help and accidentally crushed a glass in her hand 'cause she was so nervous for me and really messed up her hand. So, when I came back, she broke things off with me because she said she needed to prioritize her recovery and her mental health. It sucked a lot, but I'm dating again now, and after being with a few guys and girls again, I guess that's why I felt like posting. Don't forget to support my channel by subscribing, thank you. Story 2. My mum's, 70, neighbor, 40s, seems to be taking too much of an interest in her. I'm concerned but not sure if I should be. My mum is physically and mentally disabled. She relies on a wheeled walker to get around, but isn't fully stable and has had falls in the past. She's also schizophrenic with early-stage dementia. Hence, she's exceptionally vulnerable both physically and mentally. She moved into a new flat about 2 months ago, and one of her upstairs neighbors, a male in his 40s, seems to be taking an unusual interest in her. I've met this guy, let's call him Bob for ease, a few times, and he always seems overly interested in my mum. He gazes at her intently, and when I've tried to talk to him, he largely ignores me and barely breaks eye contact with her. He stops her every time we happen to see him when we're going out, and seems caught on every word she says, even when it's nonsensical word salad, due to schizophrenia. He's taken in and delivered parcels to her when everyone else just leaves neighbors' stuff on a chair in the communal entrance. He goes out of his way to be nice to her. It's almost like he has a crush, but no rational man in his 40s is going to be attracted to an exceptionally vulnerable 70-year-old woman with complex physical and mental care needs. Now, I'm autistic, so I initially put it down to him possibly being on the spectrum, especially as the building was initially sheltered housing. It's now an over 40s scheme, but I feel like even accounting for possible social difficulties, he's a bit too friendly. Yesterday, I left my mother's property around 4 p.m., then returned around 90 minutes later to drop off a prescription, and I found her all flustered and irritable. She told me that Bob had rang her doorbell steaming drunk asking to be let in. He claimed he forgot his fob. Because the flats are so small and closely packed, you can hear when someone rings a neighbor's bell. According to my mum, he didn't try anyone else's bell, he went straight to hers. Now, he knows my mum is very physically disabled, so it seemed strange he'd ring her bell. Her 2 other neighbors are in their 40s and physically fit, so why not ring them? I feel like most people would try to avoid bothering an elderly disabled person. His reason also made no sense to me. Apparently he'd forgot his fob, but had his individual door key? You'd keep them together since you'll always need them as a pair to get in. I could see him forgetting both, but not one. Further, there's 3 key safes outside the flat with spare fobs for this exact scenario. 3 safes to 4 flats makes it quite likely that he'd have the code to at least one of them. So he somehow forgot his fob but not his key, didn't have access to any of the 3 key safes with spare fobs, and rather than call his immediate and much younger neighbors for assistance, he went straight to the most vulnerable person in the property. Fast forward to 8 a.m. today, and my mum informed me he's left her a bunch of red carnations in the Christmas wreath she is hanging on the outside of her door. Not on the floor, in the wreath. We're not sure when he did this, but she didn't hear anything last night or this morning, so that makes me think he's crept over in the middle of the night while she, and everyone else, has been asleep. No one has curtains on their flat doors because the glass is heavily frosted, but you can still see shadows, lights, and silhouettes. It makes me uncomfortable that he approached her door in the middle of the night to place flowers in the wreath. Like I said, he can't really see anything, but it just strikes me as odd. I feel like something's wrong here, and I'm not sure what to do about it. Can anyone advise on what might be going on, and what action, if any, I should take? I almost feel like he's grooming her. I've spoke to my mom about this and explained his behavior feels off, but she got offended because she liked the flowers and thinks they were an apology for his drunkenness last night. I honestly can't tell if this is just a potentially autistic individual who isn't aware of the social etiquette of certain things, or if this is something more sinister. How do I approach this? Do I speak to him? Do I inform someone of my concerns? I don't know his name or flat number. My gut is telling me something's wrong, but I have no idea what to do. TLDR, Mum's neighbor is being overly friendly and left her carnations in the middle of the night. My mum is vulnerable and I'm concerned there's something sinister going on. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.